Hey YouTube, Hill Country Husker. Appreciate you guys checking out my videos. Thanks for all the comments. Appreciate all those that have subscribed to my channel. Just want to say thanks for that. Was up early this morning, going through my Twitter account, reading some tweets or twits or whatever they're called, and came across a story, I think, on Sarah Palin, or somebody that has a link with Sarah Palin, had put this out about Melissa Harris Perry of MSNBC. Now, of course, I don't watch a lot of MSNBC, so I'm not quite sure who this lady is, but apparently they've got their Lean Forward ad campaign. I guess that's their, rather than saying, hey, we're just going to outright lie to you, they're going to call it Lean Forward. But anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. Anyway, she's I got to read my notes here. This Melissa Harris Perry of MSNBC has an ad out, and it just floored me. It's been bugging the crap out of me all day. Let me read you what she says in this ad. You can Google this here on YouTube, or if that's the right word. You can look it up. Melissa Harris Perry of MSNBC. She says, I'm going to read this. "We have never invested as much in public education as we should have, because we've kind of always had a private notion of children. Your kid is yours and totally your responsibility. We haven't had a very collective notion of these as our children. So part of it we have to do is break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families, and recognize that kids belong to whole communities. Once it's everybody's responsibility and not just the households, then we start making better investments." Did you catch that? All we have to do is break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families, and recognize that kids belong to whole communities. I'll tell you, buddy, my kids are my kids, and your kids are your kids. They're not part of the community. Yeah, they're part of the community because they exist in the community, but it's not the community's responsibility to raise your kids. That's your job, and that's my job to do it with mine. All right? All right, let me calm down here a little bit. I found it interesting. I did a little bit of homework on this. She starts out and she says, "We have never invested as much in public education as we should have." Well, I had to do some digging on that. Went on and I found a website, National Center for Education Statistics, which pulls its data from the U.S. Department of Education. National Center for Education Statistics. And it says, I guess the most recent data is 2008, 2009, and going back to even goes back even further. But for 2008, 2009, school districts had a total expenditures of approximately $610 billion with a B, $610 billion. That was in 2008 and 2009. And also on top of that, in 2007 and 2008, of the 46 million students that were enrolled in public education, 55% of those students were transported, I guess on buses and other means, at public expense at a cost of $854 per pupil. I think the big thing here is that we're spending, like I said, in 2008, 2009, $610 billion. I think we have invested a lot, you know. For her to say we have never invested as much in public education as we should have, it's total bullshit, okay? Going a little further into her story here, like I said earlier, my kids are my responsibility. Your kids are your responsibility. This is socialism. Can you see it? Can you smell it? They want a collective type of environment where the community is responsible for your kids. You drop them off at the re-education center, school, and they're going to take care of them. They're going to feed them breakfast. They're going to feed them lunch. Heck, pretty soon they'll probably be feeding them dinner, and then they'll drop them off in time for bedtime. You never know. Maybe they're just going to keep them, and you get to see them on holidays and spring break. I don't know. Anyway, check it out. Makes me sick. Melissa Harris Perry, that's with a hyphen in there, of MSNBC. Your kids are not your responsibility. They're the community's responsibility. Just my thoughts. Hill Country Husker. Thanks.